दीक्षा अपनी दीक्षा
अब ये गाएंगे ये गाएंगे आज
मैं बोल दिया
There's a space right here, good, next to Sandy.
They said my last class is the fullest. When the class monitor came late, he didn't even take attendance.
What?
Where's the list?
Admission list.
How would I have a clue?
The teacher was supposed to put a print update and put a print.
She's been busy with the post office with mailing of the uncooked boxes. Sadhgurnath Maharaj Ki Jai. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our conclusion on the Sattvik Cooking Week.
First class. The first of many to come.
This morning,
No,
This is the first class.
next year we'll have more.
oh, okay.
More to come.
Thank you.
Three times a year.
That might be an overkill.
No, it will be a season. This is winter season.
Okay.
That's spring, they will have summer.
Okay.
I think the students are extremely pleased with the model. Madhu said his life is changed forever.
Somehow I don't think he said that,
He said
but
that. When Madhu, didn't you say that the way you enter the kitchen and eat food?
Absolutely.
Yeah, he said that.
And I couldn't have said it better
a good
myself.
disciple.
You said that when we were making chai.
I'm agreeing.
This morning he was there.
Huh?
This morning.
Let's take
He was there
attendance.
to make the.
This morning you were there.
He was there to make oatmeal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
But now he's doing all the cooking.
There is a quote in English. Too many cooks spoil the meal.
So the first thing that I would like to share is I would just like to say that for me, obviously, as many of you I'm sure can imagine, it's been a very profound week, a very enlightening one, and I really deeply with all my heart want to thank Gurda for giving me this opportunity to dive deep within myself for this entire week, and really not just this entire week, but even prior to it, to pull all of those wonderful gems that we received from Baba many years ago. It's been a great process, and every time I sit, morning or evening, to get ready for the next round and think of what else can we bring into it to make it alive and sparkling and full of His grace, it's filled me immensely. So remembering Baba's presence all week, specifically related to cooking and to the kitchen, has been the real prasad all week for me. So thank you all. And also today, I would say our fifth day, our concluding day, is a day of gratitude to Gurudev, again for this opportunity. Gifts, which we're going to give to everybody, of our masala devas and chai patti, and your little binders with all of the wonderful jewels of his cooking, and the mantras, and the bhog, and the offering, and the recipes from all of the bakers and the cooks. And also the tools to go home with. You'll have everything that you need to begin cooking in your kitchen. And again, with all the love and the Shakti and the grace of the ashram to accompany you as you do it. I want to go back to one thing yesterday. I know that when we went over the masala dabar, because it got late with all of the different properties and all of the lists that we were all reading about the spices and their advantages and comments and the English word and the Hindi word, Sanskrit word, what we didn't cover, so I just want to take 2 minutes to cover that, is the actual sequence of the spices. So usually most magics, vagars, tadkas, all start with either the black mustard seeds or the cumin seeds, right? because that's not on any of the material that's going to be given to you, but just as a quick little thing, just to finish that up so I have closure on that part. Either the black mustard seeds or the cumin seeds is what you start with. If you're starting with black mustard seeds, usually directly following that will be the cumin seeds, then the asafoetida, the hing, then you would put in either your onions and garlic or your ginger, or if you're doing the celery, and then you would add in your green chilies, same thing, and again, it's always about the flame, how we talked about adjusting the flame, paying attention to that flame, and then you would add your powders and all of that afterwards. So just to give you just that little glimpse of that, so that doesn't remain something that's unfinished, and then we can go into more detail about that when we go towards the kitchen today. The other thing that I wanted to make sure today in this session that I covered the acknowledgement to all of the cooks for your willingness to be here. All of the cooks. And the bakers, all the bakers. And staying with it, being on the same page. Organizing your recipes ahead of time, getting them here so that we were able to get them all printed beautifully onto the cardstock prior to the classes, and then showing up, being prepared with all of your things on the demonstration table, thinking ahead, planning ahead, and then being able to creatively express your recipe with all that Shakti and all that love and all that goodness that you bring to your baking and cooking, and really transmitting that to everybody who was here. And also I want to thank our film crew, who's been Ram and Amita, for covering everything and being able to have all of that material available, which went to Krishna every evening when he came home from work, and then he would try to upload everything. As I had mentioned at the beginning of our cooking week, there were the Argentinians and there were Mexicans who wanted to participate, couldn't be here physically, and said, is there any way to make this available to everybody? So I know one thing what was sent out last night, I've gotten plenty of WhatsApps and texts and emails from people saying thank you, thank you, thank you. And we'll send one playlist that'll have all of the different links in it so that everybody, as and when you want to access that on YouTube, you're welcome to do that. So thank you to all of you for your time and for being there and supporting this endeavor. And also thank you to all of the participants for making the effort to come here, whether you're in residence or whether you were coming from the community, and truly making it a wonderful, sublime, memorable week for all of us here at the ashram. So the main thing that we're going to do in this particular session today, before we move to the kitchen, is there's no class that would be complete if you didn't have the stotram or the hymn or the prayer that goes with all of what we've been studying this week and all of what we've been sharing. So as I mentioned on the first day, what we'll be doing is we'll be doing the Annapurna Stotram. So we'll all be singing it together. Some of the words are a little bit hard to pronounce, but just kind of, at least if you can't chant it, at least close your eyes and listen to it, or try to follow along with the words. This Annapurna Stotram will also be added to your binders, which I'll give you in the afternoon. At first I was going to do it this morning, but then I realized we have 4 more recipes of today that you guys might want to still write on, and so we'll add them all, and then we'll give them to you at the end of the day after the baking class. But we'll do the Annapurna Stotram, and before we do it, I just wanted to read you one verse. As Gurudev and I were looking at the meeting this morning, I was saying it's amazing that even though it says it's in praise of Annapurna, the goddess of food, and whose Murti we have out here, Annapurneshwari right now, she's in her all of the trees and everything is cut down, so there's not a lot of growth out there, but usually in the summer mode, she's surrounded by all of the lovely plants and flowers and trees and ornamental grasses and herbs. Right now she's in her, what state would you call that? The what? Hibernation, resting, yeah, resting and hibernation stage, but she's still there, ever present. And
pot in one hand and a spoon in the other.
Okay, can you share a little bit
No,
more?
that's all.
Okay.
They are quiet.
What?
I'm in a quiet mode.
You're in a quiet mode, okay.
I'm emotional. I have a tissue too.
So in all of the verses, you'll notice that the four lines that are at the very end, actually it's only 3. Those repeat themselves on every verse. So even if you can't get the rest of them, at least you can join in on the last 3 of each one to get the feeling. The tune of this stotram is really beautiful. It's a real heartwarming one. So we've tried to change the scale a little bit so that all of us can join in, because otherwise it would be really, really high. But even then, it still awakens that beautiful joy and that love for Annapurna, for the mother and the goddess of food that sustains us always. So let me just read 2 small verses so that you just at least get a feeling for it, because the meaning is not on this particular copy that we're going to use today. For the next year's class, we'll have the translation on the back like we do for all of our stotrams in English, so everybody can appreciate them and become familiar and develop that relationship with the meanings themselves. So on this one, verse number 3, O Mother Annapurna, O great goddess, giver of the bliss of yoga, destroyer of the enemies, inspirer of faith in dharma, righteousness, and artha, worldly prosperity, who art lustrous as the light waves of the moon, sun, and fire, protectress of the 3 worlds, granter of power, wealth, and desires, presiding deity of Kashi, be gracious unto me and grant me alms. And there's another one, one of the very last ones, number 11. O Annapurna, who art ever full, sweetheart of Shankara, O Parvati, grant me alms that I be firmly established in knowledge and renunciation. And the comment that Gurudev and I made to each other was how wonderful it is that it's not just about food, but it's something that permeates all aspects of creation and goes on a very, very subtle level if we give ourselves time to really explore the meaning of it. So we will get that part to you as soon as we can. We don't have to wait for next year's class, and then we can distribute those to everybody. So we'll start with the Annapurnam Stotram, and then also I would like to request anybody that if you have any comments or feedback or input about these last 5 days, of ways that it can be improved for going forward, I'm totally open to that. Just send me an email. Don't catch me on the fly, because I won't remember. So then I have a place, a format somewhere where I can take it to, so that when we have the next one in 2019, that can be integrated. So after the Annapurna Stotram, we'll do the passing out of the items here, or actually we can leave it till the evening. If there's anybody who's not going to be here tonight, then make sure you collect it from me before, right? If you're not here for the afternoon baking class. And then today,
That would be about 4:30 p.m., right?
4:30, okay.
You said night, so you might think.
Okay, yeah, so 4:30 p.m. after the baking class. And today, what we're going to be discovering in the kitchen and learning about is we have quite a conclusion here. So we have the mung dal chilla and the carrot chutney by Ambika and Ramesh. So that's mung dal chilla, so the mung dal pancakes that are up on the grill, with carrot chutney by Ramesh and Ambika. Then we have khichdi, an all-time favorite by Vivek. And then we have salad, not mostly salad, but the salad dressings is what I want everybody to go home with. So there's 3 of them, and Ron will do the demonstration on the salad dressings. So that's our morning, and then we'll all have lunch, and lunch will be the mung dal chilla, carrot chutney, and then salad, and then we'll make the khichdi now, but then that'll be our evening's dinner. So the khichdi we won't be having at lunch, that'll be in the evening at dinner. And then in the afternoon at 3 p.m. we'll start with Gina, who will do the who will do the chocolate chubbies. So we'll have those. Those are an all-time favorite. They're called chocolate chubbies, and that's from the Village Tea Room, the name. And they have her and Tim have a lovely recipe for that. So we'll enjoy those along with chai with cardamom. Even though it's not a summer day, and we said that cardamom is summer and ginger is winter, but since we haven't explored that one yet, we'll just visit that one today. So, and we'll leave our masala milk for the next round. So with that, we'll pass out the sheets to everybody on the Annapurnam Stotram, and then we'll begin.
You have to explain them what khichdi is to you.
What?
What khichdi is to Devyana.
And do you want me to do that now, while he's passing out the sheets? Okay. So, khichdi for me has become like a, with all of the traveling worldwide, and whenever I come back, there's always like a settling in process. And I somehow have found that with khichdi, it's a lovely comfort food, especially in winter. It somehow brings a nice calm and stillness to the body, to the tummy, to the belly. And also, I would say like when we're traveling nonstop and in different people's houses and hotels and just enjoying many, many different foods and around the world, whenever I come back, the first thing, the night of arrival, is always, let me get khichdi. Let me have khichdi, let me bring me home, let me bring me back into that space of like saying to my digestive system, it's enough now. Now you can let go of everything and go back to your staple food, go back to the simplicity of your khichdi and allow it to create magic in the body as it brings everything back in balance. So over the years, I've had khichdi from a few different people. And today Vivek will make it and you'll enjoy it immensely. And the other thing with khichdi is children in India, khichdi was always something you were served when you were sick. So it was something like kind of like our chicken soup or some of these other remedies that we have in other parts of the world. But khichdi is always something that if you're not feeling well, it's a great thing to take and it makes everyone feel better. And there's dry khichdi and there's the more liquid one. My preference was always a little bit more liquidy, not too liquidy, but just enough. So that's what we're going to have this evening after the class. So now we'll go straight to the Annapurna Stotram.
Yes.
And then we'll see if there's anybody who will not be with us here in the afternoon.
Lunch.
What?
You will get it at lunch.
Okay, at
What
lunch.
will they do with it now?
Put it on their chairs. Okay. Okay.
Swat.
नीचे से नीचे से
So anybody who wants their mung dal chilla and carrot chutney recipe beforehand for your notes. Okay. And you can just hand them back to me afterwards, and then I'll include them in your binders. Isn't that stochum beautiful? Okay, so now we'll all go to the kitchen and get ready for Rameshan Ambika, mung dal chilla, and carrot chutney. So those of you who are joining the class, yes.
You thank the bakers,
And
Yes.
cooks.
everyone, you never thank eaters.
I never think what? Eaters, I think that goes without being said,
And
right?
the dishwashing.
And the dishwashing.
But you have to also explain to everybody why carrot chutney versus coconut chutney.
So in many countries, coconut chutney, coconut is either very expensive or very hard to find. So carrot chutney becomes a very economical chutney, and actually very, very flavorful as a wonderful substitute or even in addition to. So yeah, you'll love Ambika's carrot chutney, absolutely delicious.
But it has coconut also, no?
Yes.
Yeah,
So half coconut, half carrot.
yeah, sometimes though,
But I think
we've
in
had
my
it when
country
it's
they have
been,
no coconut.
No, but I have to look, ऐसा देखा
Right? Which one?
Yeah.
I didn't have the coconut.
yeah, both
थोड़ा
come in. Sadhguna.